What's up everybody? For those of you that don't know me, I'm Chris. I'm a wedding photographer based in Auckland, New Zealand. And I'm getting a lot of questions about Sony and people that are switching over from Canon or Nikon or whatever as to how to set up their cameras. So I just thought I'd go over the settings that I have on my A7Riii. Out of the box, they're not really set up that intuitively. So anyway, let's get into it and we'll see how I set up my camera. Okay guys, so first things first, I'll just go over the settings that are important to me. I won't go through every menu option because there's a lot in here. Let's just go over the things that I changed straight out of the box. Obviously this has dual card slots. I shoot RAW to both. If you wanted to do RAW and JPEG, you just set that up in here, but I don't do that. I run compressed file type because the files uncompressed are like 80 megabytes or something each, maybe even larger. So and I don't find there's much difference in quality between compressed and uncompressed. So memory relates to these custom settings on top here, which I have programmed to video. So for example, 1 I have set to 25p, 2 I have set to 50p, and 3 I have set to 100p. Moving through these menus, I have my focus mode set to continuous AF all the time because I'm using back button focus. Usually I have my focus area to set to flexible spot medium, but I'll go through those as well in detail in another video. But that's flexible spot medium seems to be the best way. If it's small, if you have it on small, sometimes it's a little bit too small to get a contrast point and it can struggle with focus a little bit. I have tracking sensitivity set to responsive. Pre-AF I have off. Sometimes it can pre-focus for you when you point the camera at something. I just find it a little bit annoying. Phase detect area I have on. Some of you know that I shoot an aperture priority a lot. I use manual for flash and dance floor scenes and things like that where the light's a little bit crazy, but generally I keep it in aperture priority and I use auto ISO. If you have a look, when you go into ISO auto, you can set your maximum minimum shutter speed. I'm comfortable with like 12,800 for general kind of shooting. Otherwise I usually just have it set to 6,400 and a minimum of 100. And then here I set my minimum shutter speed to 2/50th of a second. Metering mode I have on multi, which is like matrix metering, I guess. There's a few more advanced options that you can have entire screen average, or you can have highlight mode. Skipping through more of these options, I'm just changing things that are set up differently out of the box. Exposure compensation I have to ambient only, not ambient and flash, because I just want the dial here to change ambient, not flash, even though I'm usually using manual flash. White balance I have set to auto. The trick here to get more accurate is, I don't know why this is included, you'd think it would just be like that by default, but if you go priority set and auto white balance and set it to white, and I find I get a little bit more consistency with auto white balance. Into this menu now, I have release without card disabled. So if you forget to put your card in the camera, it's not gonna just shoot away and you're not gonna know about it. So that just makes sure that if you take a photo, it's gonna give you a warning saying to put your card in there. I think that's enabled by default. So just make sure you disable that. Now, custom keys, these are the important ones that you want to get. These program all your AF on buttons and AEL buttons and all that sort of stuff. So I have my AF on button set to back button focus and AEL button set to eye focus. I have my C1 and C2 buttons. So C1 is set to white balance and C2 is set to focus peaking. So if you're in manual focus, that zooms in and gives you like a 10 times magnification so you can really accurately manually focus. These are the things you really want to pay attention to because this is what makes the system really, really quick. So let's jump into that and we'll see how I have it set up. So custom keys. If you just take note of these, this is the way I have it set up, and I've had this set up for about a year since I switched to Sony, give or take a few things. But if you set up like this, it works really, really well. The key things here are the AF on button. So have that set to AF on and AEL to IAF. This way, if there's no face in the photo, you can just use the AF on and use the center point focus. Otherwise, if there is a face, then you just hit I and it'll detect that instead. So it's a really quick action going between your thumb here. The other important thing to do once you've got AF on set up is to go into this menu here in AF2 and turn AF with shutter off. That just disables the focus from the shutter button, so you know you're on proper back button focus now. Another one I skipped past is anti-flicker shoot. Turn that on. That's just with like flickering lights and things like that. It disables most of that kind of banding you get in your photos, which is pretty handy. The A9 doesn't have that. I think the A7R3 and the A7Riii does. Skipping through here to setup 1, you'll notice you can change the brightness in your viewfinder and your monitor. A good thing to do is just be aware that because you're not looking through your lens anymore, you're looking at a digital display. If it's quite dark outside, it's going to look better exposed than it is. So usually if it's really dark, I'll set my viewfinder brightness down a little bit. Touch operation, I usually have it off. I have it also set to C4 so I can just turn that on quickly and move my focus point around. So that's the main things with focus. The other thing I'll go over quickly is just your focus point. So just like a normal DSLR, you use the joystick here and to move the focus point around, and center tap, you just push in to go back to the middle. You can go all the way to the edges of the frame, and it's really super accurate. And as I said before, I use the AEL button most of the time because I'm usually photographing people, and they have eyeballs and I want the camera to focus on that because it's super accurate. The other thing here is your FN. This is like your Q button if you're on a Canon. It just gives you your quick options, and you can change these all in the menu as well. Right everybody, so that's how I have my camera set up. There's a few more things that we can go through, but I don't want the video to be too long, so if you have any questions or things you want me to cover, just put that in the comments below and I'll do another video at some point really soon. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.